swapping the beat stories in they parlay. Ayy, kinship born from combat wisdom, not their mainstay. Ayy, mic check as they ran with jesters and they don't play. Ayy, podcast
Black
with a
Sheep
mission.
Narrative,
Black Sheep
welcome
Narrative.
back. I've got a special guest today, Mr. Mike Olivera IFBB Pro. And today, we're going to be talking some shit.
Yes.
But introduce yourself, Mike.
He just said it. Michael Olivera IFBB Pro.
Good job.
Just another guy, with some opinions.
Vocal opinions.
Vocal opinions.
I love Michael's rants.
I do have some rants. Sometimes you just have to let shit out after seeing the same shit for so long.
Yeah.
Talk about seeing shit for so long. We just had America's birthday yesterday.
4th of July, dude.
So
yeah.
Really,
God,
we're into a new year.
Dude, it's
sort of.
wild that this year's flying by.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it's already fucking July. The year's already half over.
The weather's acting weird, though. It's not as hot. Like, some days it's super fucking hot, and then some days you're like, we're not even in summer or spring. It's like, what happened?
Yeah.
You got to go through that bullshit. But
That's Idaho.
yeah, that's true. But looking forward to another year in America. And how do you think this year is going to go from last year?
In regards to the world?
Just no, America. We're talking about America
Dude,
today.
America?
America just got a year older.
Yeah.
What do you expect? What are you expecting?
I don't even know what to expect, dude. Like, looking at it, did you watch the presidential debate?
That was pretty funny.
It was wretched. From both, and I hear people like, yeah, everybody's beating up Biden.
Biden's beating himself up.
Right. But then on the flip side, people, go for Trump. But to me, Trump was up there and he was just nonstop about like, I was the best president and everything was good. And then when they got in their debate over their golf scores and shit, I was like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
All I know
They're
is
both fucking idiots.
If anybody is voting for Biden, they're doing it just to spite Trump. They're not doing it because they think Biden is going to be a better or even a good president. The guy is too old. He's got too many medical conditions going on. He was mumbling again, as he always does. You can't even make out what he's saying. He jumps from one subject to the other. It's
it was bad. I don't argue that.
If anybody else was running against him, everybody would be like, yeah, we're just going for the other guy.
Yeah.
Because we just can't have that as a president. That's just...
it was a bad look.
The whole world is laughing at that guy.
But the thing that sucks is you have Robert Kennedy, who's running as an independent, but because he's independent, he's not one of the main, he's not a Democrat, he's not a Republican, he's not going to get the airtime. Like,
right.
I feel like he's probably the best candidate to run our country, honestly, but he's not going to be able to be vocalized, and even though they have a bunch of money into his campaign and stuff, he's not going to get the time to be up there to debate with these guys or to basically say, hey, here's what I stand for.
Honestly,
So
I feel like
rough.
anybody who runs as an independent, their heart's not in it. They know they can't win, and they're just running. I don't know if it's just to say they did it or they're definitely not expecting to win.
No, I mean,
there's no independent that ever came. You can say the closest.
Ross Perot.
You could say the closest,
yeah.
but he still wasn't close.
No.
Nobody ever is as an independent.
No, and that's the thing. That's why, when you run as an independent, you don't really stand a chance. But
No.
But dude, it's rough. I don't know. Did you see America Labs launched was it yesterday or the day before? They launched a sleep formula.
Oh, okay.
And it's called Sleepy Joe. And it's a picture of President Biden sleeping at the Oval Office at his presidential desk. I was like, oh my God.
Did you see?
I don't know how they can do that and get away with it. I feel
they didn't show it like on CNN, stuff like that. But at the end of the debate, I think it was his wife that had to come and help him walk down that 1 or 2 steps off the stage. Like, he couldn't do it on his own. And she had to go over there and help him down.
Yeah,
they didn't show that, of course, but that's our commander-in-chief. Like, can't get down a couple steps.
Right.
That's a problem.
Yeah, it's a bad look for him.
And then all through the debate, especially further into it, if the camera ever went on him, he was just standing there with a blank stare and his mouth open.
Dude, his mouth, he was mouth breathing, staring at Trump. I was like, oh,
what do you
fuck,
think he
man.
was thinking at that time? I don't have a chance against this fucking guy.
He probably didn't even know.
He didn't even know where he was. He was like, what am I supposed to say next?
He's like, what is he saying? And when Trump called him Brandon, too, did you hear that? Like
Yeah.
halfway through one of his answers, he's like, yeah, just ask Brandon. I was like, oh, you dick. You dick. But it was, I didn't think it was a good look. I mean, yes, Trump won, but I'm not a fan of like what he, I don't know. I'm just not happy with either candidate, you know? I don't know.
I mean,
We'll see what happens.
Unless the Democrats force Biden to step down and they put somebody else there. If it ends up just being Biden and Trump, I would want Trump in there, not because I'm a Trump fan, but because, well, we've seen Biden's 4 years running the country, and we've seen Trump's 4 years running the country.
Yeah.
Now, I don't, have personal feelings to either one, but if I got to have an honest look and an honest, objective voice on this, I'm going to say I think the country was ran better when Trump was in there than when Biden's in there. The gas prices were down, recession wasn't like it is now, and my biggest thing personally is Biden's job with the military. He's a commander-in-chief, and that job he did with the pullout in Afghanistan, I believe, is unforgivable and would have never happened if Trump was the president. We lost a lot of civilians. We lost a lot of soldiers. And
billions of dollars worth of equipment, too.
Yeah. To me, that is like unforgivable. Like you cannot, how can we say, hey, be in charge of our military again after you did that blunder? Like, I don't, like, this isn't, like you did something stupid when you were playing a game. All right, we're going to give you a second chance. There's no mulligan on that kind of shit. You got a whole bunch of people killed. Like, you should just be done. I'm surprised he remained president after that. Like that, I think that was a huge deal, but it wasn't made into a huge deal. I think it was in the news and the spotlight for a little bit, and then it was out, and it shouldn't have been. Yeah. People should still be talking about that right now. Like, that was a catastrophe.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw I mean, immediately after we pulled out, those motherfuckers were, I don't even know how the fuck they were flying our Blackhawks, but did you see that shit? Like, they're flying, then they were hanging people, like people that were U.S. supporters,
That's
like
insane.
interpreters, and they were hanging them from the helicopters. They flew over the cities, like, to be like, yeah,
that's crazy.
This is what you get,
And I just like,
it's a bad look.
I'm not background military. I was never this or that. I haven't read any strategic military books, but I can tell you straight up, you don't pull out your army before you pull, and leave the civilians there.
Yeah.
Like you don't do. Like, and you don't leave all your shit there. Like, that's just crazy. Like, did you think they weren't going to take all that and learn how to use it all?
Yeah, that blew my mind that they learned. They had to have had some sort of training.
Absolutely. And all you got to do, and
left.
listen, they have money. Afghanistan is still the world's biggest poppy seed dealer. I mean, they've got money there. It's nothing to say to China, hey, bring some. We're going to pay. Bring some people over here to train us how to use these things.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it. Or other countries that just have people that know how to do that. Like, that's not it's not hard to do. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, and that's the other scary thing a lot of people aren't aware of is with Afghanistan, like, it may be a poor country, like you said, so the biggest exporter of poppy seed, right? Even though they're such a poor country, you go over there, you see how they live. They don't have a whole lot. Afghanistan is one of the most minerally rich countries in the world. They just don't know how to mine it. Like, that land that Afghanistan is sitting on it's a gold mine.
Right.
But they don't have the resources to do anything with it.
Yeah.
And that's why it was always the thought that, the fight over Afghanistan was for the land, for the minerals and everything.
Well, and you got to remember, too, is the money they do have and the money they do get, they don't believe in spending it the way other countries believe in spending it.
No.
And so, like with
Their
America
culture's
and stuff like
much
that, you
different.
just look at a regular family. They get a bunch of money. They want, nice watches and rings and cars and this and that. That's the mindset. Them over there, they're not really interested in that kind of stuff. They're not interested in being modernized. They're not interested in that because they believe that's the way to really go downhill in life. That's the way that you don't get to heaven, is if you take on those things and fall in love with those things, that's what's going to get you. And so, the money they do have, they're just not putting that way. And so you look at them, you go, oh, they're just dirt poor because they're living in this and that. They also choose to live that way.
Yeah. Yeah, they hate our Western ways.
Yeah.
When I was in the military, there was a time where we caught a high-value target, and this was kind of an eye-opener for me because people always ask, should we have been over in Afghanistan? You always hear people, the weapons of mass destruction, that whole shit, us invading Iraq was us, that we shouldn't have been in that war, and we shouldn't have been over in Afghanistan. I kind of disagree with that. Like, I guess I get the Iraqi side of it, but what opened my eyes when we went into Afghanistan, first we had a KLE, a key leader engagement with this village elder, and I was in there with our interpreters, and it was kind of hostile. And so you had to be like on your toes, and you were like, fuck, like this could turn into a gunfight. So I was in there with my LT. I was playing indoor security, and our interpreters in there, and they were very, very hostile with my lieutenant. And my lieutenant asked them flat out, he was like, do you understand why we're here in your country? And the village elder said, yeah, you're here to take over our country. You want to take over our people and make us Americans. And he's like, no. He's like, do you know about September 11th? Do you know about the planes flying into the buildings? And no clue. No clue. And the interpreter's like voicing this back and forth, and you start kind of sitting there, you're like, oh, shit. Like, yeah, they don't have TVs. They don't know. All they're fed is the propaganda that's being fed to them by, at that time it was the Taliban, regular, and ISIS, and no
lower class people. The everyday person there doesn't have access to what's going on in the world.
Right. So when they're sitting there, and so think
and
how
that's
you
90%
feel
of
if
the
you
country.
were in Afghanistan. That's where and all of a sudden there's foreign troops like walking through your village. Like, what the fuck? They had no clue. But then the second piece to it was then we caught a high value target who was Taliban at the time. That's who we were fighting. Now Taliban's their government agency, but we were fighting the Taliban. We caught this high value target, and our first sergeant was like, if we just, he was just bullshitting with the guy. We had him all zip tied up and stuff, and we were waiting to be extracted. And my first sergeant was like, if we just fucking left you people alone, if we just left Afghanistan, left you people the fuck alone, would this be done? Could we live our lives, all of us, in peace? And the dude's like, you could see it in his eyes, pure hate. He was like, no. He was like, you leave, we'll come to your country, we'll kill you. Like, they hate us. They hate our way of life. They hate what we stand for, Same thing with even the women. We had to go protect schools over there when they would open up the school for girls, because girls over in Afghanistan did not. And they wanted that. And so that was part of the push that we were trying to push with democracy. And, we wanted to have their girls in schools, and the girls were asking for it, and they would bomb them. They would show up and they would suicide bombs. They'd bomb because they did not want their women, their girls going to school to be educated, which is wild, but different cultures,
Yep.
Yeah. So, dude, but to answer your question, like, I don't know what to expect this year. And it just makes it a crazy year because it is election year. So, so much turmoil.
I don't know. Like, I think about where we're at now compared to where we were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30. It's just crazy, like, how quickly so much has changed in such a short period of time. It's some of it is kind of sad, I think. Definitely there is something happening to where the dynamic of just men and women, I think, in this country is crazily changing, and it's like the script is being flipped. The women are becoming the men, and the men are becoming the women. And I don't just mean that as transgender type thing. I mean that as just personality and attitude and grit and everything is just it's weird, and it's saddening. It's like men don't even want to be men anymore. That's my rant, I guess, for this. Is like, guys, men don't want to be men. It's like everybody's looking for the easy road. Guys don't want to work hard anymore. No. They want like the pay on the better job without doing the better job or the harder job. It's gotten so crazy, and it's like the way we're going. I'm like, what is, eventually that's all going to bleed into our military.
Oh,
because the guy, and most of the veteran guys and the old school guys, eventually they're going to be gone. And what are they going to get? Look at the dudes right now that are still living at home with their mom and playing video games all day long. Eventually, that culture and those people are going to be in our military.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen to us then?
So the thing that I think you know, because we've talked about this before on the podcast, and Nick used to always say, you know, I think that our young men will find a way to stand up, you know, because I agree with you. We're getting very soft. Like, here's the crazy, I was talking to someone the other day, like when I went through basic training, it was pretty hardcore, you know, like they would destroy you and they'd be yelling in your face and they would call you fucking names and you just sat there and took it. And you would see some people break and they would get out. They would be, you know, discharged during even basic training because they quickly find out, like, yeah, this guy's not good. Yeah. He's out. And that's why they put you in those stressful situations. So I was talking to someone the other day, and she was having a hard time because her boyfriend was in basic training, and she was like, yeah, he hasn't called me. I was like, he probably doesn't have his phone because they take your phones. She's like, yeah, they get their phone every night. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, they get their cell phones every night, and he would call home, and now he's not calling. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. I was like, they took our phones. You got, when you showed up to basic training, you got one phone call to your family to tell them, hey, I made it. You're not going to hear from me for 3 months. Peace out, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, he gets his cell phone every night. And then she started talking to me about the stress cards. Like, I guess now they have stress cards, too, to where if someone gets into, they can, hold up a stress card, and it's like their timeout.
Which means now like, they're accepting weaker people.
Right.
They're saying, hey, you know, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have made it this far, but nowadays we're going to let you make it.
Right.
And so they're taking in more and more guys like that. And so what's going to happen 10 or 15 years from now? It's just, it's kind of scary to think about. It's like, think about this. When was World War II? What, 80 years ago? Something like that?
It was like the 40s. 46 was D-Day, right?
Yeah, so I mean like 80 years ago or whatever the case.
Yeah.
So,
okay,
so about 80 years ago, or whatever it was, young men were lying about their age
to get
in and go fight.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward to this year. Fast forward to our recent years. Guys are pretending to be women. That's America right now. This 80 years ago, guys were pretending to be older so they can go fight, kill, and die for their country. And nowadays, guys are pretending to be women.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Yeah, but I think I have faith in America. I have faith in our youth, too, that when we are put into a time of conflict, because I'm sure it's coming, that will quickly change once they realize. Because if not, yeah, we're in some serious shit. But I feel like people adapt because, like what you talked about, I was watching this episode. It was the guy from Black Rifle Coffee, and he went to Normandy this last D-Day anniversary and walked the beach of where all of our guys died. And they showed videos like the water was just red with blood, and you know, these guys sacrificed their lives storming the beach, and the average age, like you said, he said the average age was 18. Like, because it was 18 because there were guys out there that were 16, lied about their age to get in. And he's like, these young, brave men, like, we owe everything to them. Like, it's because of them that we have our freedoms today. And it was a really heartfelt speech, and I was like, damn. But I feel that, like, when we're faced with that type of foe again, and we are put in a corner where we could lose our livelihoods, we could lose our American ways because of whatever it be, socialism or communism, whatever, that our people will stand up. I hope so.
I guess my fear on that is you still have to have, like, a young man or whatever still has to have something within him that he can pull from in that time. And just, you know, I feel like we're moving, and I was going to say slowly moving. I think it's kind of a rapid pace now. We're just moving along to where guys are like losing that piece of them, that, you know,
animal instinct.
Yeah. And that desire to fight for your family, fight for your country and this and that. And, you know, kind of, it's like guys don't even, let me give you an example, kind of an example. So the other day, I was at a gas station, and somebody came up and was just, you know, talking to me about the Jeep I got now. And so I got the doors off. I got the tube doors on there now and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, man, that's super cool. I like that. And he was like, well, what do you do in the morning? Isn't it still a little chilly? And I go, yeah, I drive to work. It's about 20 minutes, something like that. It's a little chilly. I put a hoodie on and I got a beanie. I'm good to go. And he was like, oh, man, that's why. He goes, that's super cool, but that's why I could never do that. And I'm like,
can never be uncomfortable.
For 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Like, you would say no to having something badass, you know, that you would have to suffer for. Not even suffer. You would be a little bit uncomfortable for maybe the next month or whatever. For 20 minutes in the morning, you would say no to that because you don't want to be uncomfortable. You don't want and that is just such the mentality, the mindset of so many guys. They want all the good stuff. They don't want to work hard for it. They don't want to suffer for anything. They don't want, you know, I mean, there's just so much of that going on. And the problem is it's being catered to. It's being catered to by counselors. It's being catered to by teachers in schools. It's being like everything is, if a kid has any sort of motion, whatever, hey, the whole world stops. Oh no, you don't have to do any work. Yeah. You don't have to sit in class. You don't have to that. You can go over there and just sit there and think. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to, like, there's so many things now that everyone's just so sensitive about that, you know. But back in our days, you know, oh no, you get your butt up, and I don't care what you feel like. You get your butt up, you get dressed, you're going to school.
Have hands put on you.
Yeah,
today, that would be considered child abuse.
Going to do it. You know what I mean? And there was no excuses, and people weren't so fearful of it that if they did something or made their kid do something, you know, they're so fearful now that, you know, the whole world's going to come down on them and throw them in jail and this and that.
Canceled.
And it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And the funny thing is, it's like for all these guys that are just, I'm just going to say, like, getting weaker, being less, I guess, masculine, there's so many women that are taking on that trait.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. It's almost like the script is flipping. So, yeah, you might be right. Maybe if the time ever comes, America's in need because we're about to be attacked or whatever, maybe it's the women, though, that are picking up all the guns and they're going over there and they're saving the day. Like, think about this. If you go into a gym, let's say me and you right now got up and we went to Mecca or Axiom or whatever right now. Mm-hmm. You walk in there, there's going to be more guys in there than women. But the percentage of the women in there that are actually getting like a hardcore workout, that are like working hard, is going to be greater than the percentage of the men that are doing that. I go to the gym now, and let's say if I see 20 women in there, 18 of them got their head down, they're doing their sets, they're getting their workout, they're hitting it hard. And if I see 20 guys, usually 0, maybe 1 or 2, or I would say, oh, that person is leaving today burnt out. That person is putting it in. Yeah. Because normally now I see a guy, he goes and half the time they come walk in the gym, they just look lost. Like they didn't even have a plan of what they were going to hit. Yeah. And then they go find something easy, like a leg extension or something where they could just pull the pin and put it in a plate and nobody's on it. And they go sit there and they do one nice, easy set. Yeah. And then bam, straight to their phone for about 5 minutes of scrolling. And then maybe do another set. And that's pretty much the whole workout. And that's what most guys are doing now. They don't even, like, they want the muscles. They want the be in shape. They want all that. But they're not even willing to work hard for that.
Yeah, dude, it's just a sense of entitlement. It's like, because it's not just with the gym. I think you hit the nail on the head earlier, too, because when I was at HP, we'd always do these interviews, right? Like, I was always interviewing next candidates to come up and move up the chain. And that's the response I always got when I would ask people, like, you know, so what have you done, you know, to show that you can fill this position? And 90% of the time, and if I got it, that dude was not getting promoted. It was like, well, I haven't done anything yet because I'm not getting the pay for it.
Yep.
You know, it's like, well, why do you need the pay? You know, like, well, I'm not going to do the work. If I'm not getting compensated for it, I'm not going to do that extra pay. And I would always give them my story. It's like, I've always, like, that's how I fast tracked through the military. I made it to sergeant, like, within 2 years. It's how I moved up the chain with HP. It's how I've always advanced, because any opportunity there was to learn my boss's job, I took that. I would be like, hey, show me how you do this. Show me how this. So, like, when his job did open up, there was no question as to who the guy was to fill that spot.
Yeah.
At that point, interview just became formality.
Yep.
Like, oh, John already knows how to do the job. Put him in. And you're right. We're missing that. But the same thing happens not just in corporate America. It happens in the gym. It happens we see it all the time with the supplement company too, right? Is people come to us and like, I want to be sponsored and I want this and that. And it's like, okay, I see, like, you post once a month, if even that, on your social media. Like, you know, you don't have a following. Like, why would we sponsor you? Everybody wants to put the cart before the horse. They want the reward at the end before they put in the work.
And you're right.
Like with bodybuilding, dude, you don't go step on stage until you've put in the fucking work, and then you earn that medal. You don't get the medal first and then like, okay, now I'm going to go put on the muscle and
Yeah. And yeah, you put in the work and then you get the reward.
Yeah.
And that's how it's always been since the beginning of time. But then all of a sudden recently, that's all changed. And guys just think, you know, that you should just hand them something first and then maybe they'll work hard and earn it.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, even in a race, like you don't go line up at the beginning of the race and receive your rewards.
Right.
And then you do the race.
Right.
You do the race first. And if you win, you get first place. That's how that shit works. It's like I don't understand. I don't know at like what point things got flipped like in this country like so much. I don't know if it's a social media thing or if it's I don't know, but like something at one point, I don't know what that turning point was, but there was some point in our last, I don't know what, 10 years, maybe 15 years, something freaking happened. And all of a sudden now, and I'll just say guys, most guys, not all guys, there's still some real men, but a lot of guys just turn into bitches at some point in this country some time ago. And I don't know why that happened.
So I was thinking about this. I went down rabbit holes and I brought it up to Carrie, and Carrie was like, shut the fuck up. I don't even want to hear it. But there was a manifesto that was written years ago. I think it was back in the 60s. It's by the Communist Party. And there was a manifesto that said that they would take over America without ever firing a single shot. And they laid it out how they were going to do it. They were going to infiltrate our media. They would basically brainwash our population.
Right.
They would cause such dissension and conflict within our country that it would basically break us. That was their plan. This was back from the 60s.
And it makes sense, doesn't it?
Right?
It's like, how do you fight a country that has the best military, spends the most money, has the best tech, has all of that better than you? How can you beat them?
Yeah.
Well, you got to look at something different. You're not going to do it just by getting in the ring and fighting, right? So you got to do something else. So that makes total fucking sense.
So it's kind of scary, like, because I was thinking about that. And so that was whatever 60 years ago that they wrote this manifesto. And then I think it was last year at some point, the Chinese obviously partnered with Russia. They teamed up with this whole fucking invasion thing, and they're calling themselves the Axis, whatever they call themselves now. But the president of China, or their leader, said something to the fact of, we're about to do something that hasn't been able to be done in the last 60 years. And that's all he said. He just, like, you can Google that. Like, he said that quote, and people are like, what do you mean? Like, you'll see.
Yeah.
My fear is, like, they're taking us out, and they've already but we made it easy for them to do it because Facebook, Instagram, all these social media platforms, we gave them the tool to infiltrate and brainwash us. And you're right. Like, dude, they're laughing at us over there because they're saying the same thing in their newspapers. They laugh about Americans. They've made little cartoons like, how's America the greatest power ever? Like, these people don't even know which bathroom to use because we go over what gender bathroom people should.
It's embarrassing.
It's super embarrassing.
It's like to go from what we've been known as for so long to you're absolutely right, to where other countries just looking at us and going, why would they even tolerate that in their country?
Well, they wouldn't.
And, yeah, and that's a question some of us ask ourselves, like, why are we tolerating that? Like, why is that even a thing?
Right. Why is
it's
this
just
our main topic of news every night?
Right. Right.
And yeah, it sucks. So I don't know, but I go back to that manifesto, and that scares me. It's like maybe their plan is unfolding right before our very eyes, and that's why there was a whole thing with the COVID, right? And it was constructed in a Wuhan lab, and it was maybe there's some truth to that. Like, could that have helped them fucking infiltrate and cause? Because if we create this virus and America forces their people to wear masks, like, that's just the first block to fall. Because look at what that did. Everybody, like, I'm not wearing masks. I'm wearing masks. I'm not going to get vaccinated. Like, that complete split. Like, we were torn.
Yeah.
And it's like we're torn over everything.
Yeah. 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 It's like, okay, well, let's throw something else in there to get them all against each other.
Yeah.
And then let's throw something else in there and just get them all going crazy against each other. And it's just, we're just fighting amongst ourselves and all these endless debates with ourselves. And, and just totally forgetting what's going on in the world around us.
Oh, people are still oblivious.
Yeah.
And even the same thing with, like, I get it. But now we're worked up with the whole Palestine thing. And, like, we have not riots, but protests happening in the street and people getting killed over the Palestine riots and stuff. And half these people that are protesting don't even know the full story or don't.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most people, in half of the crap they're fighting for or arguing about, debating about, don't know the full story about anything.
Right.
They just know what they see on the news. And that's what really frustrates me is like people that'll just regurgitate some shit they heard on the news and they just like, oh, well, I heard it on the news, so it has to be true. It's like, can you not see, like, even watching the news, like, this news channel is going for this agenda, and this news channel is backing up who they want for president and this and that, and so you're hearing a one-sided thing. Some of it is lies. Some of it is twisted truth. Like, there's so many people that just, it's like with doctors. It's like so many people think, oh, no, my doctor told me to do that, and so that's just it. And so he wouldn't lie to me. He wouldn't this, like.
Yeah, there's no questioning. Like,
it's everyone just accepts whatever the freak they hear, and that is gold. That is the standard. I heard it. That was on channel this, or I watched it on that news. This guy said that. Why would he lie? Are you kidding me? Why? Like, people are so naive that they still think that, like, oh, if a person is in public office, then they're all for me. If a person is a doctor, then they only care about my health. Yeah. If a person is, now don't get me wrong, there are some politicians that are for the people. There are some doctors that are, but there's plenty of them that they're just out for themselves.
Oh, well,
they're out for their agenda. There's plenty of doctors like they're like, I'm going to write a freaking prescription for everything because I get a kickback on every single thing that you go buy for your medication. And so it's like, and politicians, they're trying to get their pockets filled and stay in office and do all of that. Why do you think you hear one politician say one thing and then he gets voted in and then he doesn't do the thing he talked about until it comes time to get voted in again, and then he's making more promises? Like, it's just. And people are just, they just kind of, they go with it. No one demands change, and
no one inspects.
No, yeah.
I don't know if you saw his video. I hate him. Hate's such a strong word. I very much dislike Dr. Gary Brecka. He has 2 million followers, and he spreads all this nonsense. And he only tells half truths. But he's the guy I did a video on the other day. He's the guy that said that there was 4 times the amount of legal cyanide a person should take in every Celsius energy drink. He did a video on it, and it got shared out by hundreds of thousands of people. Like, oh my god! It's like, no, that's not fucking true. And so I broke it down. It's like, if it had 4 times the amount of cyanide a human could legally ingest, then why are people not dropping dead around us?
That's just stupid. Yeah.
It's just stupid. But he got all these people worked up, and he has 2 million plus followers, and they're like, well, why would he say this? Probably because he says the same shit about sucralose and how it's the devil, and he goes off on all these tangents. He gets people afraid of everything. And then he sells a diet plan. It's like, well, go click his link in bio. He's like, oh, buy my nutrition plan. I'll show you what to buy to stay healthy. And plus he knows by saying these outlandish bullshit that you people are buying into because he has all these followers, like, it gets views, it get clicks. Like, oh my God. Yep. Celsius contains cyanide. No, it doesn't.
Yeah, and that is
it does not.
And here's the thing that gets me on something like that. It's like, you would hope that just an average human being would be able to hear that sentence, that it contains 4 times the amount of cyanide that a human being can ingest. Yeah. That you would just hear that
and be like,
well, that guy just drank one and he's not dead.
Yeah.
So it's impossible for that to be true.
Right.
Because
people don't connect the dots.
Within the same sentence that the doctor's saying, you should be going, this guy's a freaking quack. Like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, Gary Brecka. And he has 2 million followers, and people love his shit. But like I said, he tells half truths. So for the people on here, no, there is no cyanide in your Celsius energy drinks. It contains cyanocobalamin, which is a byproduct of cyanide. So yes, that is in your drink, but it's also the purest form of vitamin B12. So anything you take that contains vitamin B12 contains cyanocobalamin. So he's dumb, and I hate that. But and so like I did a long video that broke it down because, dude, cyanocobalamin is found in almonds. It's found in red meat. It's found in. So if you're going to throw out your Celsius energy drink, then
But no, you're right.
throughout
It's like you had
everything.
said.
Drives me nuts.
Making that statement is going to get a whole bunch of views, and you get a whole bunch of people
Clickbait.
talking, and there's going to be a whole right. And so,
But-
so many people out there know that, and so they say ridiculous, outlandish stuff to get people listening, whatever. And then, like you said, after all that, well, why would he say that? Well, keep listening. Oh, now he wants to sell you something.
Yeah.
That's why he would say that.
Yeah.
It's and people just don't. I don't. And here's the thing: is it because they're not intelligent enough to connect those dots, or is it because they don't want to connect the dots? People love nowadays being told what to do and just being followers and kind of following along with shit like that.
Yeah.
And they just, kind of like with the whole COVID thing, like whatever they said, okay, that's what I got to go do. This guy says I need this, so that's what I'm going to go do.
Yep.
This guy said and it's like, holy crap. And then now we're looking back on it going, that was all bullshit. That was like, there was so much bullshit. Not saying that the people weren't getting sick or that wasn't, that part of it, but all of this other bullshit that wrapped around it, like, why aren't people still dropping dead all over the place? COVID just magically walked away, said, hey, I'm done with you guys. I'm taking off because we know we don't have a cure for it. We know all those boosters and all those shots was bullshit because people still getting them. And then you need 2 boosters. And then you get the second one and you still get, you need this third one. Oh, well, no. Now it's mutated into something else. And that's why you're still getting it with the 6 fucking boosters that we had you take. Like at some point, everyone's like, okay, but why did it take so long for people to be like, okay, now this is bullshit. This is getting fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I wonder what is fucking next.
I don't know.
But
it's crazy. But yeah, it's definitely caused a lot of distrust between us and government officials, like because of the whole COVID thing. Like there's lack of trust between us and our policymakers. There's lack of trust all the way around. Yeah. I don't think, has it ever been this bad? I don't know.
No, it's never been this bad. And kind of going back to what I was talking about with just men being weak nowadays and stuff like that. I think a lot of it, if I go backwards, I don't know around what time it was, maybe the early 2000s, late 90s, something like that, when doctors and, psych people, counselors, stuff like that, they started giving like terminology to everything. Like
started giving everything a name.
Everything had a name around that time frame. Like if you weren't as smart as the next kid, there was a reason for it and there's a medication for it. If you got sad in life, there was a medication for that. There was a terminology for that. They gave it a name. Anything you had wasn't just that anymore. Like back in the day, you could just be sad and that was it. Oh, he's just sad. Yeah. You could be happy and that was just it. You could be a little slower than the next kid in class. And nowadays, everything is, no, this is what it is. Here's the medication that can, cure it, but it doesn't cure it. So this is how you're going to deal with it. And then that sprung into, well, now you can't hold people accountable. Now it's okay. He's got a special thing. That's why he's sad. So it's okay if he doesn't work, or it's okay if now he's 30-something years old and still living at home, or this. Everything started getting excuses because, and people started, I think the way I see it is people started taking advantage of that. Because now, if you look at it nowadays, if a person doesn't want to go, you know what I mean? Like back in my day, if I wasn't like, let's say I had to go to work and I didn't want to go to work, I knew I couldn't just not go to work. You know what I mean? I had to really have a reason for it. And nowadays, if someone doesn't want to work, they can just say, I need a personal day. Yeah. And I'm not saying people out there don't have shit going on that they actually need a personal day for. Yeah, but I mean, now the thing is, employers, teachers, bosses, no one can question it. That's where it's gotten to, is that I can just go, hey, I don't feel good, or I'm a little whatever, I'm not coming, and you can't say anything about it, or it's a fucking HR nightmare, and your whole company can get sued.
Dude, so that's what, and I think you're right. I think it's because, if you have that policy in place, if you create a door, people are going to take it, right? Because I think I never dealt with this before in my life. In my previous jobs, I don't think FMLA was ever a thing. Have you ever heard of FMLA?
Not until
family medical.
Yeah, I know about it now, but growing up, I didn't.
I didn't either. I didn't know about it until HP after my military career. And at HP, people took advantage of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm too stressed out. I need to take FMLA. And they still get paid.
And you can't question it.
No.
You'll get sued.
Right.
Your whole
And I was
company will
like,
get
what
sued.
the fuck? And it's surprising because it was multiple people took FMLA. Now, I get if you have to take FMLA because, like, a family member is, like, sick, has cancer, something is like, hey, I need to take time off.
Yeah, there's plenty of good reasons,
right?
legit.
But that wasn't the reasons. Some of the reasons where I was like, oh, the job's too stressful, and now I've got anxiety, and I need to take, like, what?
Yeah.
And you're right. Like, HR is like, you cannot say a word to this person. You just got to let them do the thing. You can't even reach out to them and be like, hey, when are you coming back? Like,
You can't, if they come up to you, hey, I need to take a day off, you really can't even ask them why.
No.
What the, like us growing up, it was, hey, you don't want to come to work? Cool, I'll get someone else who does. Don't come the next day either. Don't come back. And that was totally fine. You couldn't do shit about it.
Yep.
Like, so yeah, you were scared to even call in or something like that.
How long ago was that? Because before
that was the
80s. Military, no, it was even sooner than that. Because I remember, or maybe it was because it was a sales position. It was because I sent a dude home when I was the general manager of Ultimate Electronics. I had this dude, and he was a shitty salesman. And he didn't close this deal, and he was making excuses. I was like, dude,
you got to go.
I was like, go home.
Yeah.
Figure it out. I was like, go home.
Yeah, that's the 80s, that's the 90s, maybe even the early 2000s, but somewhere along the line, I think.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore.
The beginning of the 2000s, or I don't know, but somewhere it flipped, and it flipped quick. That's what really surprised me is how fast that happened to where now you are on eggshells around everybody. Yeah. You're just on eggshells around everybody. You don't know how to. It's just the world has gone crazy with that. And it just people are. I don't know. I think it kind of goes back to that. It's just the whole medical field and everything. That everything has a label. Everything has a name, and you are an insensitive piece of shit if you question it. Yeah. And it comes down to that because that guy has the right to be depressed or sad or this or that or whatever. Fucking right shoulder itches, he doesn't have to go to work. I mean, whatever the case may be. Yeah. Doesn't have to do good in school. Doesn't have to, I mean, all of that stuff. And all of that is being catered to. Oh, he's not good in this or at school or whatever. Okay, we're going to have him go over here. And so now his grades don't have to be very that good. But he'll still move along in life. He'll still grade this and that because now the standards have been lowered. The standards have been lowered, and they go low enough to make sure everybody can still pass.
Everybody gets a trophy.
Everybody gets a fucking trophy. That's crazy. People get attitudes with me when because I tell them I don't believe in that fucking everybody gets a trophy bullshit.
No, it shouldn't.
And well, there's this and that. Like, but it doesn't. We go back to what we was talking about. 10 years from now or whatever, if our military's in need, someone's coming attacking us and shit like that, you want your army to be a bunch of people who got first place and that's how they got their trophy? Yeah. Or you want it to be full of people who just kind of participated, got their ass whooped, but still think they're about shit because they got a trophy at the end of the day? Yeah. Who you want defending you?
I'm there with you, man. And dude, I feel like in society we've gotten soft. Did I tell you, God, what event did you have at your house? And I showed up and I talked to Jimmy about it. Did I tell you about the guy I slapped?
No, you slapped somebody?
Yeah. It turned into it was a big debacle. It was the day you had an event at your house. I came over after and I only stayed for a little bit and I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I was like all stressed out. I don't remember what your event was, but I talked to Jimmy at your house and me and him went outside and we chatted about it and I was still kind of shaken up.
There was the poker thing we had when
that was the poker thing.
Two Pair and Ashley were going to Florida. They were moving out.
I don't remember. Yeah, maybe that was it. I don't know. But yeah, it was a big ordeal, dude. I went home and talked to Carrie and I immediately was like, I got to go seek some help. But yeah, dude, I was at UPS, but it makes me think of
society. You slapped somebody at UPS?
Yeah.
He just didn't want to deliver your shit?
No. It wasn't the worker. I walked into UPS to drop off some packages, and I was going over to your house.
Okay.
I was dropping off packages. There was a guy in front of me. He had this big trail hitch. It's like one of those tow hitches that goes from one and it goes out into two. Like big fucking thing. And he was trying to ship it. And the guy's like, well, I can't ship this because it's not packaged up. And the dude was like, I had all sorts of attitude, and he storms out, and I walk up right behind him. I drop my package off. Yeah. Turn around, I'm walking out, and I just got that Raptor. I'm walking out, and the guy's walking ahead of me, and he hits the side of my Raptor with that tow hitch.
Oh.
Dunk. And I was like, at first I was like, motherfucker. And he walks, I know he saw he hit it, because as he hit it, he looked down, turns around, keeps walking. As he's walking down, he hits it again, looks down. And at that point I lost it. I was like, and I yelled out. I was like, hey, motherfucker. You know, I was like, you just hit my truck. And he turns around, he's like, excuse me? And I was like, you just hit my truck twice with your hitch, dude. And he's like, no, I didn't. And I was like, dude, I fucking watched you. You even looked down at my truck after you hit it. You know you fucking did it. I was like, be careful with that fucking thing. And I was like looking at my truck as I'm talking to him, make sure there was no dents.
Right.
Right? And he's like, and this is where I lost it, because he goes, he's talking a lot of shit. You want me to hit your truck? I fucking will. And I just fucking backhanded him fucking hard as I could. Just fucking slapped him right there in the parking lot. I didn't see his homeboy was in the truck waiting for him. He jumps out of the truck, and at this point I'm like, oh fuck. And he actually came running up and got in between us and was pushing his friend back, like get in the truck. The dude's talking shit to me and I'm talking shit back. They walk over to their truck. I get in my vehicle, and it was that moment that I was like, oh fuck, like I fucked up. Like, if this is on camera, I'm the aggressor. I slapped the shit out of this dude.
Right.
And I'm backing out, and I'm watching them, and they're standing outside their truck. And I'm leaving, I'm driving away, and I'm like, fuck, they're getting my license plate number.
Right.
I was like, I'm done. And and I showed up to your house, and I was talking to Jimmy about that outside, and I was like, dude, I'm probably going to jail. Like, I was freaked out. Me and Jimmy were outside, out back at your house. And I was like, I'm going to fucking jail. I was like, I'm just waiting for the cops to show up. And I told Carrie about it, and she was like, well, it's already done, whatever.
Yeah.
So
don't you miss the days when you could slap a motherfucker like that?
But that's what I'm saying.
It's all good.
Is like,
because they deserved it.
I feel like people. That's why he said what he said. He didn't think I was going to do shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're missing that level of accountability.
Yep.
Like, he took me beyond that point where it's like, this dude deserves a fucking handprint on his face.
There was a day when you knew to keep your mouth shut, or else someone would shut your mouth for you.
Yeah.
And that day is gone. So there's another prime example of how men have turned basically so soft. Like, men have taken the women's role, women are taking the men's role, and because back in the day, you would only hear that from women, where they would get in a guy's face or something like that, because they know, hey, chances are, guy's not going to hit a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter what. The guy's just 99 out of 100. The woman can say whatever she wants, and the guy's not going to do that, and he shouldn't. And so nowadays, the guys are like that. Well, no one's going to hit me. I could say whatever the fuck I want. Yeah. And the guys are acting like that because 99 out of 100, unless it's fucking you, that guy's not getting slapped when he fucking should. And we, I don't know how, but I feel like we have to get back to that. We have to get back to where you can slap someone who deserves a fucking slap and get put in line. There's no check in life anymore.
Right.
There's no boundary check. A guy can do whatever the fuck he wants, say whatever, act like a total fucking just whatever.
Being keyboard
take advantage
too,
of people. Say whatever he wants, whenever, and there's nothing to put him in check.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. And so he's just do what the hell you want.
Yep.
Make up any excuse you want. Don't go to work. Don't do good. Don't work hard. Don't whatever. And fucking, it's like that's what we live in right now, and it's just getting fucking worse and worse.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. And again, I'm like, man, when did that fucking switch get flipped?
Yeah.
When did we say, okay, this is now our men, and you can and you can be just, and it's like, when I talk to guys, like younger guys, stuff like that, like, I always get hit up at the gym and stuff like that. And guys are asking me about, hey, how do I get big? Shit like that. That's, every young little guy, whatever, just wants to know how to get big. I don't even fucking tell them how to get big. Like and honestly, it was like a couple days ago, I was at Axiom, and I had a kid come up to me and ask me. He was probably 20 years old or something like that. It was a youngster. He was like, bro, you're fucking jacked. How do I get jacked? I didn't say anything about sets and reps and food or none of that shit. I went straight to, you got to fucking work hard. Whatever it is you're doing, you have to work fucking hard. And then he asked me some other questions, and I kept it on I'm not even going to talk to you about fucking workouts. I'm going to talk to you about fucking life. And he was gobbling it up, so it was cool. And we were chopping it up a little bit and stuff like that.
How old was he?
I think he was like 20. Okay. He wasn't 21 yet. I can't remember. There was something that was said in there about fucking alcohol or something like that. And he said he's not able to drink yet or something like that. But I want to say 19 or 20 years old. But I was telling him, you just got to fucking work hard. And I even told him, I said, I told him, I said, I'm not even talking about the fucking gym. Everything you fucking do, work hard and act like it's a competition. If you want to get bigger or whatever, act like it's a fucking competition. You got to put in your all. And that's in fucking life. That's in everything. For, you know, for men that are really fucking men, life, I believe, actually is a little bit easier for them. And for the guys that don't want to be a real fucking man, then life's going to be, you know, I don't want to say harder because they're taking the easy road, but they're not going to get the shit they want, I guess is what I'm saying. But for men who are really fucking men, they're going to get all the shit they want. And the reason being is there's not much competition left anymore. You know what I'm saying? So like, normally, if everybody's a fucking man and trying to be better in life, a career, fucking house, family man, trying to have all the best shit, normally there's a whole bunch of guys that are trying to get that shit. Whatever car you want, whatever truck you want, the baddest whatever, somebody else wants the fucking thing too, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever position you want at your job or the company or something like that, there's other people that want that too because they want that money. Yep. You know, if there's a hot chick for a guy out there that's single, he wants her, guess what? Other dudes want her too and are trying to impress her. And so that's all competition shit right there. Yeah. And so you got to take it as competition. And so if you're doing everything in your life as it's, hey, this is a fucking competition and I got to beat out all these other dudes, you know what I mean? And you're doing the hard work for that, you're going to get your shit. And so back in the day, the competition was you got a room full of 100 dudes, all 100 are trying to get that same girl. All 100's trying to get that job. All 100's trying to get your truck. All 100 dudes are all after what you're after. You got to go beat them all. Cool. Nowadays, you got a room full of 100 dudes. Maybe you're in competition with 10 of them. Maybe you're in competition with 5 of them. I mean, think about it. And I always go back to fitness because that's kind of the world we live in. If you go to the gym and you're getting it super fucking hard in that gym and you're after those bigger muscles or just being stronger or just getting in better shape, take a look around. How many other guys in there are fucking grunting or at least breaking a sweat, not on their phones every fucking 2 seconds scrolling? How many guys are doing the same kind of workout you're doing? How many guys are pushing it just as hard as you're pushing it? Fucking 1, 2 out of 50, out of 70, maybe fucking 3? Fuck. That's easy competition. That ain't fucking shit. Yeah. You look back at the days in the 80s and the 70s or whatever when they were in Gold's Gym and this and that, everybody is fucking era. Getting it. Yeah. Everybody is pushing hard. That's what you're in competition with back then is a room full of 50 dudes and all 50 dudes are trying to fucking be the best. Nowadays, you're in a fucking gym with 50 dudes and 2 of you are fucking doing something that's going to like progress you and actually look like a serious freaking workout. And everybody else is just laughing and joking and this and that. And that's how guys most guys are taking life as a fucking joke and just laughing and just thinking that eventually they're just going to get the good shit. They're just going to fucking have it. Yeah. And it's just fucking, and so yeah, for the real fucking guys being men and are motivated and after shit, life is I think it's easier for them. And for those other people, they're just never going to fucking be happy because they're never going to get good shit. And they're just, which is also why now, like, do you even remember using the term hater back in the fucking 80s? Hater? Yeah. Yeah, or not. I don't remember using the term. Nowadays. In the 80s? Yeah, like 80s. Nowadays, everyone, oh, that dude's a hater. Yeah. Right? Okay. I guess back growing up, I don't remember using that terminology. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that dude's just a fucking hater. Like, I don't remember that at all. And I'm not saying there weren't haters back then. I just think that nowadays that it gets used so much because so many people are. Why? Because there's not much competition anymore. You're in a fucking gym. You and maybe 2 other people are fucking getting it. What are the other 50 guys doing? They ain't doing shit other than fucking hating because they want your size and your results and this and that, but they don't want to do the hard workouts. And so what do? They feel haters and all that shit comes from a feeling of less than. Yeah. And so what can a guy do? Nobody wants to feel less than. Nobody wants to feel inferior. So if you have a guy that feels inferior, let's say there's some fucking dude and fucking John's got his own business. He's got UXO fucking supplements. He's got this. He's got fucking great fucking family, blah, blah, blah. I want to fuck him though. Yeah. They feel inferior. They can't get that. Why can't I have my own business? Why can't I have this? Why can't I have that? And so there's really a couple things that person can do. One is he elevates his game and he gets to the same level that you're at. and now he's not going to hate anymore because he's right there with you. Or two, he can try to bring you down to his level, and that's going to make him feel better.
Right.
And that's what most fucking people do. They don't want to put in the hard work to get to your level. They just want to drag you down to their fucking level. And how do they do that? By being a hater and talking shit.
Talking shit to everybody.
You know what I mean? They see a big guy with the money. Oh, he's just on fucking steroids. Or he's just this. He's just that. Whatever they got to say to make them feel better about them fucking self to get to that even fucking level.
Yeah. But I get it. It's like, that's what I find interesting, because it's funny you brought up that point, because that's true. Like here in Boise, dude, there's multiple people that are very toxic toward us in the Mecca, that openly don't like us. And I tried to figure out why, and it's exactly what you said. It's like, okay, they're obviously frustrated because, like, they've talked shit. Like, John shouldn't own a supplement company. He's not in bodybuilding. It's like, we're not a supplement company for bodybuilders, right? And it's just for anybody who's... But they talk all this shit. And it took me, at first, I was really pissed, but then it came to light to me. It's like, oh, they're mad that I'm chasing my dream. It has nothing to do with me.
They're not mad that you're chasing your dream. They're mad that they ain't got shit.
Right.
They're mad
they aren't.
That you have something and they have nothing.
And so that was kind of opening when I realized that. It's like, okay, it's not, they're just upset that I'm chasing my dream, and they're not. And it is hard, dude, like, because there's a lot of sacrifice when you chase your dream. And it really, like, opened my eyes even more, because M, who owns Echo Vision, and I had that bitterness. He was one of my ambassadors, and I helped him launch Echo Vision, and now they're on pace to do $50 million this year.
Shit.
They're a juggernaut. He's buying his second supercar. He just bought a Lamborghini last year, and he's buying his second one this year. And there for a bit, I was bitter, and I hated him. And, and I even talked shit. And then I realized what I was doing, and I rekindled that relationship with him, and I reached out to him. I was like, yeah, I made some videos, dude. I talk shit. And I realized I became that hater. And now me and him are cool. We're cool, and I call him and I bounce ideas off of him, and he'll call me in. He'll let me know different things they're working on, and it's cool. Like, we built back to this collaborative working relationship, and it's because I really do appreciate, like, what he's done with that company. But yeah, there was that point of bitterness. So it's like, that should have been me. Like, why am I not at $50 million a year? And it did it, and it turned into hatred inside. Like, fuck this guy, fuck that company. It's just because I couldn't get there. And when I realized that, it allowed me to turn over a new leaf and, like, yeah, it's not hate towards them. It's hate towards myself because I didn't do what he did.
So John's message to all the young men out there listening is, just because you're a hater now doesn't mean you have to be a hater later.
You don't.
You could take that shit and use it as fuel to be more of a hater, or to motivate yourself to get your ass up, work harder, and get what that other person's got. There's two ways you can go with that.
Yep, and you hit it right on the head. When I realized that I was taking the negative route, that also consumed a lot of energy. And it was a lot more energy to hate on him and just keep it fucking inside. But when I was able to let that go and use him as a mentor, and maybe that was part of it. Maybe it was super torn, because it's like, man, I used to be his mentor, and now he's but now it's like, flip the script. Well, now he can be my mentor. He can help me, and now we have a great relationship, and all that anger and hate and that bad energy inside me is gone. But I had it there for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, take it again. Take it back to the gym. Take it back to the fitness. You got a workout party, and you're in there, you're doing bench press, whatever, and this dude, your partner, is doing 50 pounds more than you. You can hate on that. Yeah. You could be all pissed off and jealous and this and that. And
he's taking more roids than me.
He's doing more fucking, he eats like shit, whatever. You can do whatever you want with that, or you can fucking watch his form, watch his technique, see what he's doing, all that kind of shit, and use that all to fuel you to be stronger and do exactly what he's doing, or even do more. There can be healthy competition. You don't have to turn it the route of just, because going to that little hater mode and coming up with all of those reasons of why somebody has got more than you or better than you, that leads to absolutely you not trying to even get better yourself.
Yeah.
because all that's doing is giving you more and more reasons of why you can't ever do that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You're
So
making
you look at the
excuses
other
for
guy.
yourself.
Yeah, you look at the other guy. Oh, well, he's using a bunch of gear and this and that, and so that's why I can't ever. And then you end up not working harder or anything like that. You just fucking give up. Oh, I can never do that because he's doing this. Or I can never have what he has because, oh, his friend got him that job, or he knows that. People come up with all kinds of fucking excuses of why they're not where somebody fucking else is.
Mm-hmm.
And the more excuses you come up, the more it pushes you down. Mm-hmm. Or you can take the other fucking route and use it as motivation and do fucking better. But most people don't want to do that. Why? Because there's hard fucking work involved. Yeah. And our problem in today's society is guys don't want to fucking work hard. Nobody wants to fucking, I don't want to say nobody, but it's just different out fucking there, you know?
Yeah.
People think instead of fucking going, getting a job and busting your ass and working hard, they just, I'll just going to do some post on Instagram and maybe after 6 months, I'm going to get a bunch of views and followers and somebody's going to fucking like give me a fucking job or whatever and I'm going to make a living off of social media. Like that's what a lot of people want to do now. They just want to fucking, you know, take some easy ass route and I'm gonna be the next fucking Instagram star or fucking YouTuber or this and that, and that's literally
the thing
doing
that frustrates me too, man, is like if you watch, like there's a bunch of people out there videos and they talk about how to beat the algorithm and you have to post so many times and you have to and I get really frustrated with those videos where someone's like, oh, if you want to blow up on TikTok, you got to post 3 videos a day, you got to you got to have a hook, you got to have. They aren't talking about the competition that you've been talking about this whole time, right? It's like, okay, even if you post 3 times a day and you've got to, you have to make content that doesn't suck, right? It's not just posting 3 times a day, because if you want to post about you bodybuilding and showing off your muscles, Instagram's flooded with that. So is TikTok. So you have a million other people out there showing off their muscles. So again, it's like, okay, not only do you have to post 3 times a day, but you got to look better than this guy, or you got to be able to provide better information as to how to get there. You got to, you know, you can't just post videos of you flexing and thinking, all right, I'm going to post 3 times a day of me flexing. People don't give a shit. So how are you going to be better than the Sam Soliks out there? How are you going to be better than, you know, all these other influencers? So...
And for those that are fucking doing that, don't quit your day job. Hopefully you got something else you're fucking doing and you're not just all out, I'm going to be a social media fucking whatever and make millions off of this. And
wait till you get your bag off social, then you quit your job.
Have a job. Have a real job and let that be your little side hustle.
Yeah.
If you can make something with it, great, make something. But have a fucking job. Don't let that be, you're fucking mid-20, 30 years old or whatever, you're living in mom's fucking basement and fucking that's what you do until you make it big. Like, what the fuck, man? I mean, or keep doing that, and I'll get the shit that you should be getting because I'm out there working fucking hard. Yeah. So I guess go 2 ways.
And we're not saying that you can't do it, because I think now is the perfect time to do it, because you're seeing all these influencers blow up through the TikTok and through TikTok's just a gold mine for getting views and stuff. But you just have to fine tune your content and make sure that you realize, like what Mike's been talking about this whole time, is there's a lot of competition out there. So what are you going to do differently than the competition to set yourself apart? But now is the perfect time to do it if you can do it. And not saying it can't be done, but you got to put in the work again. The whole fucking topic of this call or of this podcast, you got to do the work first, guys. And yeah, keep your day job until you get your first bag.
Yes.
Then maybe think about quitting.
Yes. Don't live off mom and stop living off your girlfriend. Fucking make your own money.
That's right. That's right. The gym, though. So did you go to the gym today?
Yeah, I went to the gym today.
You went to Ontario?
No, I had to pick up my stepdaughter this morning because the wife is working, and so she was downtown.
Working on Friday?
It was either Anyway, so
she's always
it
working.
was. I was gonna go pick her up like at 9, or she was gonna walk home, which was like 3 miles and all that kind of stuff. And so I just went and said, all right, I'll just work out at Axiom, then I'll go pick her up. So, but no, I got the workout in, came straight here after that.
Yeah, I'm about to head to the gym, but that's some of the things I hate. I've noticed that like the gym culture has just also shifted. It's a bunch of younger kids that, you know what? There's actually some young kids that really impress me in the gym.
Yeah.
The kids that are in there getting it, and you can tell that they're trying. Like, their form may not be the best, but they are getting it, and they want to put on that size. But then there's all these broccoli heads in there that, like, they're sitting on their phones. That's more social hour. Just drives me absolutely nuts. So
No, it's you know, you can get me started if you want, and I can go for days on all of that shit. But I mean, I think it starts like, and I'm not putting everybody in this pool, but I think for the most part, if a guy walks in the gym wearing his flip-flops, he's not there for a serious workout. If a guy walks in his gym wearing his pajama bottoms and some flip-flops, he's not getting a hard workout. I can almost guarantee you. He's not even in the right mindset. He is going in there because that's just the routine of, well, I'm going to go to the gym. He's going to do a couple of easy sets of something. He's going to be on his phone for 5 minutes in between each set, scrolling through TikTok and Instagram. And then he's going to not even know what he's working out until he gets there. He's going to do that for a little bit, and then he's going to leave. And he's going to, I don't know. That's what that guy is doing. Or go back to video games or whatever the case may be. That's what that fucking guy is doing.
Yeah.
It's just,
So you think it's like a job, right? Like you get, most jobs have some sort of dress code, or you know, maybe you have to show up business casual. So you get up, you get ready for the job.
Well, you said in the beginning, like mentally being prepared for that and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's something that goes along with that. Like, you know, if you know if you're going to the gym and you're wearing the clothes that you go to bed in,
your mindset.
Where's your mindset at? Are you going to the gym or are you going to bed? You know what I mean? I mean, so there's something about that. You don't, you know, people, they leave work, they go to the gym. Usually they change their clothes at the gym. They put on their gym attire. Bam, that's their armor for the gym. You know, I'm about to get me a hard workout. This is what I wear. This is, you know, I do my best squats in these shoes, or I get my best workout on the, you know, whatever the case may be. I'm not saying everything's got to be, you know, whatever bodybuilder outfit or something like that. But I'm saying there is something to wearing a pair of sneakers over your flip-flops in the gym.
Yeah.
And I see that all the time. Guys just wearing slides and whatnot. You know, they got their socks on with their flip-flops. And it's like, you know you're not going to push it hard if you come in there looking like that. You just know you're not. Yeah. And they don't. I have yet to see somebody in there just getting just grinding it out in his flip-flops. I've yet to see somebody in the gym grinding it out in a pair of jeans. You know what I mean? That's just, I haven't seen that. And I'm not saying that that's not out there. There might be some people out there that are just freaking doing that.
You ever done that? You ever like went to the gym and realized, fuck, my gym shorts aren't in my bag, and you've never have?
And just like wore a regular pair of pants?
A pair of jeans?
I'll go home and get them. And then...
Oh, man. I did that last year once. I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'm getting my workout in. I'm here. I'm not. Yep. And I went and worked out in jeans, and it sucked. It was horrible, and I felt all awkward, too. But, you know, I'm the only motherfucker in there with jeans doing fucking,
My thing, so when
you're right, but I couldn't push it to the limits.
Right. You're not set up properly.
You're very restricted in your pants, and you're like, oh, this fucking sucks, you know, and you kind of just push through it.
You're not getting in a boxing ring and sparring with somebody wearing, you know, a button-down long-sleeve shirt and some, you know, pants on. You're not doing that. You can't move. You don't feel right.
Yeah.
You gotta feel like you're ready for what it is you're about to freaking do.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's just shit that goes along with that. You know, I would just, I would have went home and just got, because
I probably should have, but I did it.
And the other part be, I would just be so uncomfortable that I wouldn't be able to get in the kind of workout that I was trying to get in.
I didn't. Yeah. And I felt awkward. I felt like people
What did you work out?
Chest.
You did chest and jeans?
And so I remember I was sitting on the bench, and I was like, like even just trying to sit on the incline bench, you know, and jeans are all tight.
Right.
Like, oh, God, what the? And I just couldn't get a good workout. And you know, So I was not getting it that day. But I still felt accomplished because it's like, all right.
You didn't say I
didn't give up.
Yeah.
I still did it.
See, like, and I'm saying I would have went home to get them, and then went back. Like, I still would have got the workout no matter what. I still would have got it. Now there have been a time where I forgot my shoes, and like I was wearing work shoes. No, I just took the shoes off. I had socks on, and I just worked out
in socks.
In my socks. Yeah, which that's not too bad. Obviously, if I would have dropped a plate or whatever, but
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. The guy in flip-flops, I'd be worried if they dropped a dumbbell. Like, that's losing a toe. That would suck.
My thing with that is, like, not wearing shoes, I definitely am more stable and have more grip than if I'm wearing flip-flops. Like, your feet are moving around on those things. That's what I'm saying. Like, how you got to, if you're trying to get something, you're trying to be the best at something, you're trying to get the most out of something, you got to go into it with that mindset, which comes along with everything from
The way you look,
the way
you feel,
the way you're, are you dressed for it? You know what I mean? Are you dressed for it? Are you ready for what that's gonna, you know, what's gonna happen right there? Like, the things you're gonna do. Are you set up for it? You know, I mean, yeah,
but I think there's some belief in that too. You know, like with everything. Again, I defer back to HP, but because I was a business manager there at HP, right? And they had, because it was a call center, so basically I had a sales team that worked for me, and it was cold calling, it was taking calls, it was selling shit all day long. We made really good money, but since it was a call center environment, they were always like, it's just business casual. You could wear jeans, you could wear shirts, whatever. You could even wear T-shirts, so it wasn't even business casual. So that's what I wore to work every day. I wanted to be comfortable. I wanted to feel good when I was at work. Yeah. But one of my peers, who was one of the other team salesmen, he always came in like dress shirt, slacks, you know, tucked in, and I'd be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like, just wear your jeans and T-shirt, you know, feel good. He's like, no, then this is my attire. When I show up like this, I'm ready to go. And it's more of a mental thing for him. And I was like, all right, I get it. Yeah, I can respect that. I'm not doing it, but I can respect that.
So everyone has their own little thing, and then, like, you know, sometimes you're putting on a suit or whatever, it makes you feel powerful. And so you're going into negotiations, whatever, you know, dressed for that, whatever makes you feel, you know, where you need to be mentally for whatever activity you're doing. That's what you want to do. Like, sometimes, like, you know, we have an office at home, and sometimes my wife will work out of there, or I will, or something like that. And I know for myself, if I know, okay, I'm just going to work from the office in the morning for a few hours, if I just pretty much get out of bed and just kind of whatever, and then roll in there in my underwear, or, you know, just a pair of shorts or whatever, no shirt, and I'm just it's not the same as if I got up and went through the whole motion like I normally do if I was going off site, if I was going to the job fully dressed and everything, and then sitting down and doing it. You know what I mean? It's like being prepared. The way you're dressing is also being prepared, and I have way more productive day if, you know, I get up and I start my day normal and get dressed and all that, than if I just, you know, roll in.
So you never did the Zoom calls from like the waist up and you're in your underwear and shit? Like,
no. Most of my Zoom calls, I don't even put the camera on. So.
Yeah. All right. So good conversation. Let us know in the comments what your thoughts are. The men of today. What are your thoughts? Let us know. Mike, where can they find you at?
Michael Olivera 318. That's my Instagram. Yeah.
All right. Give Mikey a follow. And we look forward to having you guys in the comments section. We'll talk to you guys again next week. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful week. Later, sheep out.
Welcome aboard the ship. It's the Black Sheep Ride. 2 soldiers on the mic. We're not here to hide.
From combat zones to home, now we fight with words. Discuss the madness of the world. Facts unheard. Yeah, we've been through extremes.